give the judges another shot at it? Forget about the fighters. I don't want to give the judges another shot at it.
This isn't just about one fight. It's a long-standing issue in boxing known as A-side bias, where the sport's bigger star or moneymaker gets the benefit of the doubt on the scorecards. Teddy Atlas points to Canelo Alvarez as the prime example, a fighter whose massive fan base and promotional value make him the golden asset of boxing. Judges, consciously or not, recognize who drives future business, and in close fights that awareness can swing decisions. Atlas argues the Crawford clash exposed this problem once again, even in a fight that wasn't razor close. The scorecards look designed to keep the A-side protected, proving how business often outweighs pure competition in boxing.
Canelo, I think I'm happy with Cheatham, but if I'm with Crawford, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wait a minute, hold on. This guy had he had Canelo over Bebo. He had Bebo over Canelo. That's why I meant to say. I'm sorry. He had it that close. Hell, he had
115, 113. Now listen, there's another judge on this card who will be officiating this fight, Crawford versus Canelo, Steve Weisfeld, who also scored at 115, 113. I've more singled out Tim Cheatham because of the inconsistency.
Because of his past record.
Yeah, I didn't think Loma lost to Haney. That was one of them. I just talked about the Zoo versus Fandora, #1. That one, unbelievable. Richardson Hitchens versus Lemos, way too wide. Just recently, we watched a great fight, Figueroa versus Joet Gonzalez. Way too wide for Figueroa. There's been too many
Teddy Atlas pointed to Judge Tim Cheatham as the clearest example of A-side bias in action, noting that the moment his name appeared on the panel, suspicions were justified. Cheatham has a history of controversial cards favoring the bigger draw, like when Dimitri Bivol's dominant win over Canelo somehow became a narrow 115-113 on his scorecard, just one round from a draw. For Atlas, that wasn't an isolated mistake, but a pattern. And seeing Cheatham ringside for a fight as monumental as Crawford versus Canelo signaled danger before the opening bell. So when the official cards came back at 116-112 and 115-113, twice, despite what Atlas considered a near-flawless performance from Crawford, he saw it as confirmation of boxing's oldest suspicion, the business-driven bias toward the star.
The thing that bothered me, there's only one thing that really did bother me, and that's why I don't want a rematch. I'll be honest. I've been in this business 50 years, too long to fool myself. Those judges should be really, they got to look in the mirror to have it that close. There's no way it was that close. Thank God he dominated. Because otherwise we might be here talking a whole different thing and really going nuts. And I would definitely break this thing.
Yes, you would. I believe you.
And maybe that. And I'd owe money. And I couldn't care. I would pay it. But at the end of the day, that's why I don't want to see it again. He dominated, and the judges had it that close.
Yeah.
Give the judges another shot at it. Forget about the fighters. I don't want to give the judges another shot at it.
Chad Johnson, better known as Ocho Cinco, joined the chorus of disbelief over the Crawford-Canelo scorecards, echoing Teddy Atlas's outrage. On his show, he admitted he couldn't fathom how such a dominant performance could be judged so narrowly, insisting Bud controlled every aspect of the fight, landing the sharper shots, the heavier blows, and dictating the pace. Breaking it down mathematically, Johnson argued Crawford clearly won 9 or 10 rounds, at worst dropping 2 or 3, making the official tallies impossible to justify. For him, and for Atlas, the slim margin wasn't just bad judging, it was proof of a deeper problem, with the cards reading like fiction rather than an honest reflection of what unfolded in the ring.
That was a great display of boxing. And had Bud not made it so convincing, there's no way, ain't no way to judge, because I don't give a damn what they say. And no, I've never been a judge. I've never judged the fight officially. But that's not a 115, 113. That's not a 116, 12. If you watch that fight, there is no way you thought that those scores were that close. Bud dominated that fight. I'm talking about dominated. He landed cleaner shots. He landed the harder shots. He was active. Yeah, okay. So he followed him around the ring. Yeah, he was pressuring him. But guess what? Every time he come in there, he got slapped.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I really, really enjoy when it comes to boxing, when it comes to the sweet science, for those who know the game, who know the sport, and are not just casual fans of it, when it's done the right way, it's like art. It's like a puzzle. All you're doing is putting the pieces together. Whatever he does, I got something for that. Whatever you do, if he has something for that, you come back with something else. I mean, it's a beautiful thing when it's done the right way, and I really thoroughly enjoyed tonight's fight.
Bud won at least 9 to 10 of those rounds. Bud won 9 to 10 of those rounds. There's no way in hell, if you watched that fight, you thought Canelo won as many rounds.
Sutherland and Cheatham, they would be the first guys called into the office on Monday if a national czar came in and said, I'm going to start investigating this sport. I'm starting to look at the things that Teddy Atlas talked about and a lot of other people talked about. I'm going to start, and that a lot of fans talk about, that they're leaving the sport because of the bad judging and officiating. I'm going to start to look at it. And the two guys I would say to you, sir, whoever you are, I would say, sir, it might be a good place to start with a guy named Sutherland and a guy named, yes, sir, I'm not making this name up. What is the name, Teddy? Cheatham. I had Beaver winning 11 rounds. All right, even if you said 10, you'd be kind of generous. But to have it that close, I mean, come on. And then the other fights you talked about. I mean, he's got a track record where the problem with him isn't just that he's so off and the numbers are so off. They're off for always the A fighter. That's the thing that puts a light on in my mind, that puts a danger light on, is that he's always, Canelo's the A guy, always, right? We know that. We don't have to dispute that. So it's not like he's on the side of the B guy. He's always on the side of the guy that the promoter would want to win. That's what bothers.
Teddy Atlas insists the problem goes deeper than one bad card. The judging system itself is broken. In Las Vegas, boxing's so-called capital, the same small group of judges oversees nearly every major fight, creating a closed circle with little turnover or fresh perspective. Atlas argues that this insularity erodes fairness, as promoters, commissions, and judges all move in the same circles, sharing business interests and personal ties that compromise neutrality. In such an environment, he warns, the line between professionalism and bias becomes dangerously blurred, leaving fighters like Crawford battling not just their opponents, but the system itself.
If you got the same officials all the time, which we're talking about, you do. I mean, just look, every time there's a big fight, you got the same guys for the most part. And again, I think that you can help a lot by rotating and getting new blood in there. And also geographically looking and saying, don't keep putting every time you put a fight in Vegas, don't put the same guys from there. Bring in guys from different locales. Mix it up a little bit, because you have these promoters that have a relationship and a familiarity where the judges are more prone to go towards them. Why? Why, Teddy? Why? Because they go out to dinner with them, they give money under the table. They do go out to dinner. I'm not saying they give money under the table. I'm not saying that. But they know that those are the guys that...
According to Teddy Atlas, Terence Crawford's triumph came from more than skill. It came from his mindset. While most fighters operate like strong but predictable machines, Crawford functions like a supercomputer, instantly reading opponents, processing patterns, and making razor-sharp adjustments that punish mistakes. His ability to predict and adapt in real time sets him apart, but so does his resilience, forged by life itself. Years ago, Crawford survived a gunshot wound, an experience that taught him nothing inside the ring could compare to life-or-death reality. That moment hardened him, instilling the cold composure that allowed him to walk into the Canelo fight under historic pressure and still perform with unshakable calm.
They tried to bury Terence Crawford. They tried to ruin his reputation and say that he wasn't a draw, when the numbers were there for you to see. When he went to MSG against guys that didn't have big names or that were faded, like Amir Khan, or when he fought Kavyaskis, he did numbers. There was a smear campaign about his personality. He doesn't talk. Nobody wants to hear him. No, that you don't want to hear. So you try to speak for the masses when the whole time you have a star right here. You got to learn how to talk to this man. Even as recent as his last fight, the fight before Canelo, the smear campaign continued. I don't hear the smear campaign now. Them voices got really, really quiet like they typically do when they get proven wrong. And they either try to jump on the wagon, I knew this kid was going to be that, or they get very, very quiet and they start to retreat back to wherever they came from and they don't have a lot to say. So I'm happy for this brother for that reason, because they tried to bury him, Roy. It didn't work. He overcame that. He said, give me my shot. I'm going to show you. And he kept doing it time and time again, and he did it again against Canelo Alvarez.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stick around for more updates, reactions, and deep dives into boxing's biggest moments. Until next time, keep your guard up and your passion for the sport strong.